The Feast of the Holy Family is a beautiful feast, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. It really is mind-blowing in a way. It stops us in our tracks when we realise that God, our loving Father, has entrusted us with the gifts of love and life. Love and life. It really is amazing the trust that God shows in all of us, in humanity, that He entrusts us with these beautiful, beautiful gifts of love and life. The Church, in a way, picks up on this brilliantly when it talks about the sacrament of matrimony, not so much the sacrament of marriage. The preferred term is the sacrament of matrimony, which is a word that means mother-making and by implication father-making. So the word ties together what we're talking about here, the mystery of how God has entrusted humanity, entrusted each one of us with the gifts of love and life. Of course, this is not the message that our young people are receiving, that most people are receiving in our culture. Certainly not at all. In fact, I'd have to say that when most young people leave school, whether they happen to be private schools or public schools, religious schools, otherwise, the main message they really take away about human sexuality is, look, the two things about human sexuality. One, beware of STIs, sexually transmitted infections, and beware of pregnancy. That's the main message they get. And so the question would become, what can we do about this sort of avalanche of negative messages about and untrue messages about human sexuality? And I think the first thing to do, and the most important thing to do, is for parents to reclaim their rights as the prime educators of their children. The Church teaches this wisely. If you go to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, it's commandment number 4, you'll see this beautifully portrayed and beautifully explained, that parents are the prime educators of their children, creating homes of tenderness and forgiveness and a place where the virtues can be practiced. Most beautiful, I think. And so if this is true, and it is true, then what I would encourage parents to do is to start to form associations with other parents so that in fact their right as the prime educators of their children is honoured. And so they can get in there and dialogue with the schools and say, listen, we don't agree with this particular way you're portraying not only, say, human sexuality, but even perhaps history, the way history is being portrayed now. And this is the most important point. The prime educators, that is the first educators of children, are their parents, and then they entrust that task to other institutions. But because they are the prime educators, they have every right to be able to go to those other institutions, educational institutions, and say, this is what we'd like taught. This is how we'd like to see the truth and love and hope on display. It's a most important point. So we entrust the endeavour not only of honouring the fact that parents are the prime educators, but also this idea of associating with other parents to uphold this particular right and dignity of parents. We entrust this to the Holy Family on this beautiful feast, the feast of Jesus, Mary and Joseph, the Holy Family.